The first time I met Xyloth, she was standing in the middle of my living room, holding what looked like a glowing, pulsating jelly bean. Her iridescent skin shimmered under the fluorescent lights, and her 4 eyes blinked in unison as she extended the jelly bean toward me with a tentacle-like arm. "For you," she said, her voice a melodic hum that resonated in my chest. "A gift." I stared at the jelly bean, then at her. Thanks." Xyloth was an alien. Not just any alien, but a Xentharian, a species known for their advanced technology, their love of bureaucracy, and their peculiar sense of humor. She had been assigned as a cultural exchange ambassador to Earth, and somehow I had been chosen as her human liaison. Why me? I still don't know. Maybe it was because I worked at a coffee shop and could make a decent latte. Maybe it was because I had a cat. Or maybe it was just bad luck. "What is it?" I asked, poking the jelly bean cautiously. It wobbled like gelatin but emitted a faint, warm glow. "A Xentharian bonding token," Xyloth explained, her voice dripping with pride. "It symbolizes trust, friendship, and other things." "Other things?" I echoed, raising an eyebrow. "Yes," she said, her tone suddenly serious. "It is a sacred object among my people. To accept it is to enter into a lifelong bond." I hesitated. Lifelong bond sounded like a big commitment, but Xyloth looked so earnest, her eyes wide and hopeful. Besides, it was just a jelly bean, right? How much trouble could it possibly cause? "Okay," I said, taking the jelly bean from her. It felt warm in my hand, almost like it was alive. "Thanks, Xyloth. This is cute." Her face lit up, and she clapped her tentacles together. "Wonderful. The ceremony is complete." "Ceremony?" I asked, but she was already skipping. Yes, skipping out of my apartment, humming a tune that sounded suspiciously like the theme song from Friends. The next few days were strange. The jelly bean, which I had placed on my coffee table, began to emit a soft, rhythmic pulsing sound. It wasn't loud, but it was constant, like a heartbeat. My cat, Mr. Whiskers, seemed fascinated by it, batting at it with his paw and then hissing when it wobbled too much. Then there were the dreams. Every night I dreamed of Xyloth. Not in a creepy way, well, not too creepy, but in a way that felt significant. In the dreams, we were standing on a glowing platform surrounded by thousands of Xentharians, all chanting in unison. Xyloth would take my hand, or tentacle depending on the dream, and press it against the jelly bean, which had grown to the size of a basketball. The chanting would grow louder, and then I'd wake up in a cold sweat. I tried to brush it off. Maybe it was just stress. Maybe I'd eaten too much pizza before bed. But deep down I knew something was off. A week later Xyloth returned. This time, she was accompanied by 2 other Xentharians, both wearing what looked like ceremonial robes made of shimmering metallic fabric. They carried a large, ornate scroll between them, which they unrolled with great ceremony. "Human," Xyloth said, her voice trembling with emotion. "The time has come." "The time for what?" I asked, my stomach sinking. "To formalize our bond," she said, gesturing to the scroll. "This is the marriage contract." I blinked. "I'm sorry, the what?" "Marriage contract," she repeated, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "By accepting the bonding token, you agreed to enter into a lifelong partnership with me. It is a great honor among my people." I stared at her, my mind racing. Wait. You're saying that jelly bean was a marriage proposal?" "Yes," she said, nodding enthusiastically. "And you accepted it. The ceremony was beautiful, by the way. Your dreams did it justice." "My dreams!" I exclaimed. "Those were real." "Of course," she said, tilting her head. "Did you not feel the connection?" I opened my mouth to protest, but then I remembered the warmth of the jelly bean, the pulsing sound, the dreams. No. This was bad. This was very, very bad. Xyloth, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I didn't know the jelly bean was a marriage proposal. I thought it was just a cute gift. Her face fell, and her tentacles drooped. You did not wish to bond with me. I didn't even know what it meant, I said, feeling a pang of guilt. Look, I'm flattered really, but I can't marry you. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. And besides, we're from different species. How would that even work? Xyloth's eyes filled with tears, or at least what I assumed were tears. They were more like glowing orbs of liquid light. But the bonding token has already chosen you. It cannot be undone. What do you mean it can't be undone? I asked, panic rising in my chest. The bond is eternal, she said, her voice trembling. To break it would bring great shame upon both of us. My people would see it as a betrayal. I groaned, running a hand through my hair. This was a disaster. How had I gone from making lattes to being engaged to an alien in the span of a week? Over the next few days, I tried to find a way out of the situation. I consulted lawyers, scientists, and even a priest, but no one had any idea how to deal with an intergalactic marriage contract. Meanwhile, Xyloth moved into my apartment, her tentacles taking up way more space than I thought possible. She insisted on cooking Xentharian meals, which mostly consisted of glowing, gelatinous blobs that tasted like regret. But as the days passed, something unexpected happened. I started to like her. Xyloth was kind, funny, and surprisingly good at video games. She had a way of looking at the world that was both naive and profound, and she was always eager to learn about human culture. She even got along with Mr. Whiskers, who usually hated everyone. One night, as we sat on the couch watching Star Trek, Xyloth turned to me and said, "Do you think we could make this work?" I hesitated. "I don't know. It's a lot to take in." "I understand," she said softly. "But perhaps we could try. For the sake of the bond." I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized that she wasn't just an alien. She was a person who had chosen me, for reasons I still didn't fully understand. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. "Okay," I said, taking her tentacle in my hand. "Let's try." The wedding was unique. It took place on a Xentharian ship orbiting Earth, with hundreds of Xentharians in attendance. The ceremony involved a lot of chanting, glowing orbs, and, of course, the bonding token, which had grown to the size of a beach ball. When it was over, Xyloth and I were officially married, according to Xentharian law at least. Back on Earth, life settled into a strange new normal. Xyloth continued her work as a cultural ambassador, and I went back to making lattes, though now I had a lot more to talk about with my customers. We faced challenges, of course, like figuring out how to share a bed with someone who had tentacles, but we made it work.